I set out with this idea of doing something that people told me I couldn't do.
Look at that beautiful freaking crumb.
We are making it so that when we dump the dough on, it's not going to be stuck to the surface. So you can see like all the bubbles that are already starting to show. You can see how like wet and hydrated the dough is. It almost looks like a Detroit style that's going to go into a pan, but it's not.
Let's show this baby off. Wow. Dang, you get buff working here.
No, you throw out your back working here.
Is there a secret to balling a high hydration dough?
To make it tight, taut, you know, like the ball has to be sealed on the bottom. If it's not, then you can have the tearing when you open it up. So
right
by
there.
far, Rory, if you like film what he's doing it one-handed. He can do like 2 at a time. Like
quick and efficient.
Yeah, he's now another owner here at Solamente, and he's like the one person who was like just a master of the dough off the bat. Like it took me 2 years to learn to do what he did in like 30 seconds of kneading the dough, you know? So when I have most people ball it up, it takes a little bit of work and some people can't ever catch on, right? But he's the only person who just instantly touched the dough and bam. It's also kind of a race against time. One of the reasons we have a lot of people is if this dough sits too long, it'll ferment too much out of the mixer. And then when you go to ball it, it's like already starting to proof because it's in a giant, you know, amount at a time. And it took a lot of like kind of figuring out how we could do this. Like you can see like how the tables are staggered. There's little things so that everybody's stationed at the right spot. It works out really well like this. We've actually like put dough in the fridge to try to like stop it overnight and come back and it just exploded, right? Like there's no way once it's in the mass to do anything other than to start blocking it off.
Is there a huge no-no in this process that you all have learned that you can maybe share that will help the viewers or listeners at home?
It's a combination of, like he said, the quickness you have to be able to release and how much you push down on the dough. So if the dough ball itself is overly gripped, and that's what I see happen the most, like it sticks to their hands and they can't do it. They don't understand you have like a quick catch and release of it. The similarity between everybody who's doing it is it's a quick touch the dough, not too long, not too hard. Soft. But it's a lot like mozzarella, right? Yeah. Like the way I do it, like it's the same kind of mentality there. So you just want to have it smooth.
Lovely. What is this?
I drink Fiji and I put this in my dough. I can't afford Fiji in my dough. Okay. So here we go.
Wow. That's not what I was expecting to smell. It smells great.
I always like do a little check here to see like how that fermentation looks.
Little bubbles popping out? That's sick.
Hydration is a funny thing. Like our hydration is 75 to 80, right? But our flour is very, very weak. We used to be 75 to 80 at our last location, and our flour is very, very strong. Night and day, the texture difference. That's just our W is like 300 to 320. Sometimes we'll go as low as like 290.
And is it typically one flour for the biga?
No, it's a blend. So this is every flour I use.
You said 4 flours, sometimes 8, all in there, and that's basically your dough, but now you're just adding water.
Most people would take a pre-ferment, and then they would be adding in the flour to it. We are taking our pre-ferment, and we're just adding water and salt, maybe a little oil into the final products. You're making pizza dough, and then you're taking your pizza dough and making it into a second pizza dough, you know?
When did this process start?
So this was like 48 hours ago, right? So like our bigas sit for 48 hours in a cold temp. As soon as it's mixed, it's in the fridge. Out of there, it goes right into here. We mix it, we ball it back into the fridge. Like we're within all parameters for safety, but we're pushing all limits for dough. You know, I like to say we're kind of like bending the rules of pizza physics.
You're a wizard, Harry. So essentially, you have this biga. It's gonna get water and salt. I'm assuming it changes the flavor.
The longer you can ferment dough, the better it tastes. Like that's just the rule. Like as long as you don't go too far. With naturally leavened, you can push it farther than yeast, so you can develop way more flavor. Our philosophy here is that you don't want a sour taste at all. You want just developed flavor notes, right? We have all sorts of like parameters set to make sure it doesn't get sour.
And then is this going over here?
Yeah, but we scrape it just because we're so precise with the measurements.
It took me like a 3 minutes of explaining it because they'd be like, oh, I dropped a little piece. I'm like, well, weigh it out because that's going to change how much water and salt we added, you know?
What a freaking G move. You know what, dude? That totally would have gone over my head. And we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of pounds, but it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
3 bins. This is not even a full scrape, but 3 bins. This adds up.
Yeah, yeah. And Well, also this is what's going to have the dough come out and into. So if we have those little chunks, then when we ball it up, guess what? Those chunks are in there, and then when you go to stretch your balls, like you got the things breaking through. And maybe cut where I said when you go to stretch your balls, because that's another word.
No, we're gonna leave that in. Water expelling out, does that mean anything?
So to me, like it used to mean I messed up because the water is too much for the dough. Like the dough can't hold it. It's not strong enough. Now it's a good sign to me because I know I pushed it just to the limit as long as there's not like a giant pool of water. Cut into bigas before and there'd be like a little mini pond inside.
Whoa.
Because like I ruined it because there was just, they couldn't hold the water, just started like spitting it out.
Whoa.
So it's like those little bubbles are that process starting. So we're constantly pushing everything just as far as we can, you know, as much water as we can get into it for as much time as we can get into it for as weak strength as we can have, all like combining to make the dough what it is.
Ridiculous. Hypothetically speaking, does it make a huge difference if we like break up the biga or not?
He's always singing breaking up is hard to do, so I'm not sure, no.
Breaking up is hard to do. Don't take your love.
Yeah, so I've been experimenting with it for the auto lees. I've noticed that if I do break it up, there's a little bit of better water absorption, but it also matters how long I'm spinning it. So I'll come back, I'll do like a minute to a minute and a half on this initial spin to get the water and biga together. And then every 15 minutes, I'll come back and do anywhere from 15 seconds to 30 seconds additional spins just to keep reincorporating it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a bigger factor. But,
A biga factor. A biga factor, right?
This is so much fucking fun. Oh, the water's already pre-measured.
Yeah, pre-measured.
So we had like a 45% biga, and now we're making it an 80% dough once we add this, and then the final water dump. So like at this point, it's probably sitting around 65, and then we'll get it up to around 80.
Go for it. Someone on my, literally today, someone on my YouTube channel was like, you need the reverse function for biga.
Yeah, this isn't mixing the biga, this is just incorporating water into it, but we do reverse when we do the biga. It doesn't overmix it. So the actual roll in which that's going in combination with the rotation of that develops the gluten. By going in the opposite direction, it's not forming it into like a tight gluten mesh, it's actually just loosely pushing the dough together, you know? So it's just reversing the rotation so that the dough isn't developing gluten at that point.
I don't even use my reverse mix because I don't do biga, but like I gotta see this. I had no idea. I really had no idea. Okay, cool. This is so fun. Okay, look at this. Look at these little bubbles here, making some foam. That's interesting. What's this? Do you know the science behind that?
I would be lying. I would be completely foamy if I said I did.
Okay, so what? It was quick. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, and now it'll sit for an hour, and this is really going to strengthen it up, and we can add more water to the final product.
Perfect timing, 5:45, so now it's every 15 minutes I'll be coming back for like a 15-second. Yeah.
Talk to me about this cheese here. What do we got?
We have the Bacio, which is a combination of both cow and buffalo milk to make the mozzarella, and it's great. It's an amazing product. I was combining the two, and I still do sometimes, like put buffalo and cow's mozzarella together. But this is a product that actually already did that. It gives you that flavor profile with the still sweet and creamy taste.
Schedule a demo today and let them know What's Good Dough sent you. See how quality and profitability can actually go hand in hand.
So I see here we're building the pie, we're adding the cheese, then we're stretching it out. How crucial is that versus just stretching it out all the way and then adding cheese?
So because the dough is different each day, it kind of depends on like how the dough is. On some days, that's the difference between the pizza looking like a pizza and looking like Stewie's head from Family Guy. It's just on the dough. Like it is a living product, right? Like it can change and alter and switch itself day to day. Like when you guys are here, it's like, oh man, hopefully it's gonna work out.
What is the special?
So it's just our tomato sauce, Parmesan, pecorino, fresh mozzarella, pepperoni, and then on the back end we put honey ricotta, basil, truffle oil, hot honey, and oregano.
What Rory's doing right now is obviously the most difficult is the stretch and the launch, but even like the cook and getting it from oven to table at the right speed is important.
Tell me about this oven. Like, I know you were shopping ovens at the Pizza Expo last time we talked.
Yeah. So I landed up on the Neapolis. Moretti is like kind of like the premier name in pizza oven. It operates a lot like the wood fire oven I was originally cooking out of, whereas like with this oven, I can actually lift it up and get top heat to brown it. I can go to the sides of the oven to hit these little conductors, and I can brown the dough just like I could when I touch it to the fire. And a lot of the other electric ovens I was using do not allow for that.
I saw you putting it in the corner and getting that hotter
Yeah,
area.
yeah, yeah. So
I
like-
just learned that this week.
Yeah, so like knowing the hot spots, the cold spots of the oven is totally crucial. And with this one, you know, I know, and I like that there's that range, right? So like we can cook it in the back, we can move it to the front, we can do all of those things within this one oven. So a secret that I picked up from watching the videos of Una Pizza's Anthony, and he's like, oh, this is a secret. Well, I'll tell it. And so since he can tell it, I can too, is this bag of Spolvero is like so amazing for stretching, right? This Pacini, it's used in like pinza dough or something, but like you use that to stretch and it doesn't
like rice flour?
It's like, I think it's like a semolina rice flour type blend, but like it is so much better than me mixing or using anything else. Like whenever we run out of it and we use something else or try our blend of something else, it's never comparable to that one.
Not fun. Look at that beautiful freaking crust and steam, and oh my goodness, it's freaking gonna be a feather, baby. Did I do that justice? Feather?
Yeah.
How many pizzas can you work here, more or less?
It's the Neapolis 6, so it's supposed to
Sure.
be able to hit 6 pizzas per deck.
5-minute bake time, more or less. We have a 400 Celsius.
Yep.
Yum, 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 yum. Oh my God, man. They didn't just look good coming out of the oven, they look fucking crazy. Okay, yeah, asking about Daniel Gigi.
Yeah, the Daniel Gigi. He's a good friend of mine, and he's one of the best pizza makers on the planet, if not, you know, top 3, I think. I don't know what type of pizza to make for a special this week. Then he described this pizza, and so I called it the Daniel Gigi because Daniel is his name and Gigi's is his restaurant, so it's the Daniel Gigi. It's a pizza that I think a lot of Australia's top 50 made in honor of him getting on the list. He's like, try it, if you like it, add it to your pizza list. I would have never had the culinary knowledge to put horseradish and butter together, and yeah, that one is not me.
Crazy. I love it. How are we on dough? 10 minutes? Cool.
Yeah, perfect amount of time to eat pizza.
Let's go. Let's do this. Let's talk about it while we eat about it. Amazing. Great work. You either do, wow, or you don't. Sexy. Let's go. I mean, this was crazy. Yeah, look at that. We're just gonna eat. Sorry, like we're not gonna talk much. We just want to eat. Like it's getting cold, but check out that. America's most technical pizza. Vegas' most technical pizza. America's most technical pizza. It's tight. Look at that beautiful freaking crumb. It's delicious. Check them out. Solamente freaking pizza, y'all.
Hello? Can you hear me? Testing, testing.
So we're gonna go get started here with our 100% biga. We already did an initial refresh on it. Now we're gonna start spinning up. Right now we're anywhere from 60 to 70% hydration. And now we're gonna add in some more ice water to it. Because we're with 100% biga, we're not adding any more flour. We're only adding more water to the mixture. And so this is gonna give us all the hydration we need. The first part, we're just drizzling in the water. Then we're going to do a final splash of the water, slowly add in our salt, and then once we hit a certain temp, we're gonna add in the olive oil just to keep everything like the gluten network as strong as possible when we're doing this. But yeah, the big thing is just making sure we don't add in too much water too soon, so it remains a cohesive mixture. For reference, so we're gonna be doing this for about 8 minutes. I'm just gonna be slowly adding in more water as time goes on.
So when we're adding our water in increments like this is a good stage for us to help control things. We can cool our water down, or we can have it more of a room temperature. If the temperature in the building's really cold that day, we'll run more room temperature water, and if it's really hot or humid, we tend to ice it. So it's just easier to get the gluten developed without overheating and over fermenting. Oh, it's got multiple speeds, so we'll kick it up in the second gear after we have added all of our water in.
So we're about to add in the salt, and so what I just did was pour in a little bit more water beforehand, because we don't want to disrupt that gluten development and what I call burn out the dough.
You can kind of hear the salt getting mixed in right now. So the reason why we're adding it real slow like this with the water is because if you're mixing that into some dry dough and you drop it in one big clump, that can really slice through that dough and like tear that structure you're trying to develop with the gluten.
We'll get that mixed in a little bit more, and then we'll switch it to the high speed. Yeah. Right now it's still coming together. Once we hit about 60 degrees, it'll really start to come together. And then from 63 to 68, kind of comes apart again. And then it's that final few degrees where it's really coming together and it's perfect. Spins with olive oil just to get that final incorporation. But if you do it too early, because the gluten and the flour is not going to bind to the olive oil, it'll just break up the dough. After we add the olive oil, do a final inspection, you know, do all the stretches.
You know it's really getting close to being ready when it's starting to pull off of the sides and not stick as much anymore.
Yeah, so that's good. They're apart in temperature, but we do the best we can.
We like to grab this up and get a window pane test. So you're looking for kind of like a see-through, thin, like you can stretch it real thin to the point where you can almost see through it.
If you wait, we'll wait a couple minutes, but you'll really start to see these air bubbles form. Yeah, this dough wants to get to work, 100%.
It's always nice when it's real bubbly. See that one erupting?
And then we're going to dump it back into the biga buckets and start the cutting again.
You guys came in, we were already cutting dough balls. So this is what was happening right before that. Like this will basically be, you walked in right after we dumped it from the mixer to the table. So just coming back full circle now.
And I've changed my mind. I will in fact have a slice of pizza.
Get better, man! Excuse us.